Hello, Trinity friends. I hope you're having a great start to your summer. We recently received the results of Trinity's CAT survey. Now, that's the Congregational Assessment Tool. If you recall, we took this survey in late winter to early spring. The CAT is a really helpful tool that lets us know how we're doing and helps give direction for the future. Now, while you're going to hear more about CAT results and their implications in upcoming months, I want to spend just a few minutes going through the results with you. First, just a bit of background. Trinity first took the CAT survey back in 2013, while we were in the interim before I was called to Trinity as senior pastor, and while Pastor Peter Strumman was here as the interim pastor. The CAT was very helpful during that time, and the information was used both to inform the call process and to give shape to future plans. In fact, after I got here, we used the data from the CAT to help create our 5-year strategic plan. Now, we've taken the CAT again, 4 years later. As I said, we took the CAT this year, and then we had an online meeting with one of the analysts from the organization that administers the survey to help interpret the results for us. She let us know that we had a good number of people take the survey, and that based on our response rate and our numbers, our results have a 99% reliability rate with approximately a 3% margin of error. She said we should feel really good and really confident in the results. Now, the goal of the CAT is twofold. First, to check on the health of a congregation, on how our members feel about our community, its role in the world, and their role within it, as well as how we are doing on making progress towards our goals. Second, the CAT results will help with our planning process moving forward. There is great wisdom in our congregation, and God is clearly at work. The challenge is discerning what God is calling us to do together. The CAT measures congregational health by looking at two different aspects: congregational satisfaction and congregational energy. Now, while there are hundreds of questions in the CAT, the fundamental way that it determines satisfaction is centered around the question, how satisfied are you with how things are going in your church right now? And the question of energy centers around the question of what do you perceive as the level of energy and excitement in our church? Now, the CAT plots the results on a graph, with satisfaction on the horizontal line and energy on the vertical line. The results of the data then place a congregation into one of 4 different quadrants. If a congregation has low satisfaction but high energy, it falls into a quadrant that the CAT survey calls chaotic. These congregations are ones that have people who are unhappy with how things are going, and frankly, they have a lot of energy about it. And so they're talking about their unhappiness. Now, I've seen congregations like this. My guess is you have too. The word I would use to describe churches like this is grumpy. The CAT survey calls congregations with low satisfaction and low energy recovery congregations, as in they need recovery. These are congregations where people are unhappy and there isn't much energy. I think another name for these kind of churches would be sleepy. Congregations with high satisfaction and low energy are called static. These churches are relatively satisfied with how things are going and don't feel the need to grow or change. They're the ones who could be defined by the phrase, well, we've always done it this way before. The last quadrant is for churches with high satisfaction and high energy. They are called transformational. Transformational congregations are healthy and have an outward-looking perspective. This is the quadrant where a congregation wants to be. In 2013, when Trinity took the CAT, the results were positive. The assessment put us in the transformational quadrant, which is great. Trinity was a congregation of high energy and high satisfaction. The word of caution back then was that when a congregation is as close to the center of the graph as we were, it means that there is the potential for a church to move into any of the other 3 quadrants. They said this was not unusual for a church that was in the interim. So now, 4 years later, we've taken the test again. And this is one of the major metrics that we are paying attention to. And the news is good. In 2017, Trinity has moved farther and more securely into the transformational quadrant. Our level of energy and satisfaction have both grown in the last 4 years. This provides great affirmation for the strategic plan that we've been working on since the fall of 2014. And there is data to back this up. In the question of congregational satisfaction, 57% of the congregation said that they were satisfied with how things were going at Trinity back in 2013. Today, that number is 71%. The energy-related question was intentionally a negatively phrased question. Trinity members were asked to agree or disagree with a statement. It seems to me that we're just going through the motions of church activity. There isn't much excitement among our members. In 2013, 35% of Trinity members disagreed with this phrase. Today, 57% of our people disagreed with that statement. Now, there is more great comparative data that I'll touch on briefly. The CAT survey measures how theologically conservative a congregation is. Looking at the data from 2013 to 2017, we're about the same as we were 4 years ago. You'll notice that compared to the other 80,000 churches in the CAT database, we are about average in terms of our level of conservativeness. A very positive result in 2017 is that over the last 4 years, we've become an even more flexible and adaptable congregation than we were then. This is considered by CAT interpreters as a sign of great vitality in a congregation. We've also grown in our sense of congregational hospitality as well, from a score of 27 to 48. That's really encouraging because we've put a lot of time and energy into our hospitality, and it's fun to see some positive results come from that. There are other scores that have grown as well that we can be excited about. Congregational morale went from a score of 57 in 2013 to 79 in 2017. That's a huge increase. There are two interesting areas that have also improved that I think are linked together. First, Trinity's conflict management, that is, how we deal with disagreements and conflict when they come up, and it is inevitable that there will be conflict, went from a score of 30 and more than doubled to 70. That's great improvement. Second, the level of trust in Trinity's governance went from 51 in 2013 to 75 today. That's also a great improvement. It shows that generally there's a high level of trust in Trinity's decision-making process, from our council to our commissions to our staff. When connected to the conflict management score, it also indicates that the trust level is not only in leadership, but also in how leadership will handle conflict. Now, one of the scores I'm most excited about is around the question of Trinity's spiritual vitality. That score went from 45 to 76. That score indicates Trinity members' willingness to participate in activities that they believe will deepen their relationships with God and our people's perception of how they feel Trinity is doing as a spiritual center. I've got to be honest, I get really excited when I see numbers that grow in this way. Now, an area that was already high in 2013 is readiness for ministry. Now, the first time through the CAT survey, our members indicated with a score of 74 that they felt Trinity did a good job preparing them to do ministry through church, but also at home and in the community. That's a great score. In 2017, that score went up to 85, which is phenomenal, and one of the things that we've been working on in the last 3 years. Our level of engagement in education was very, very high before, scoring an 87. That's a great score. It's one that most congregations would really be excited about. Our score in 2017 actually went up another 4 points to 91 in this most recent survey. And our last area of data comparison is in worship and music. Trinity did really well with us in 2013, scoring a 68. We held steady and actually grew by a single point to 69 this year. Clearly, people feel confident in their worship experiences. So, all of this data serves to point towards Trinity's general health as a community. Looking at the information from the Congregational Assessment Tool, I believe that we have a lot to be thankful for. We are definitely moving in the right direction. As a matter of fact, the woman from the company that gave this survey in our session where she was going through the data with us, she said that we were one of the highest scoring congregations in terms of both energy and satisfaction that she had seen. That is great news. Thanks be to God. So then we turn our attention to what's next. Now, Trinity has a strategic plan that we're in the midst of, but our hope was that the CAT survey would give us more detailed direction and would help us figure out what we're ready to tackle next. Well, the CAT gives first a listing of congregational issues that we would need to work through before we could take on new initiatives or work to take our church to the next level. In 2013, our list had about 20 different items on it. Again, these were what the congregation perceived as internal issues that we would need to address before we could do whatever God was calling us to do next. This list, by the way, looks long, but actually is pretty typical for most congregations. Now, the same list From the test given in 2017, we have no items on our list. Yes, I said none. The CAT survey could identify no internal issues that the congregation feels that we need to address before we can move forward. Now, okay, I have to admit, when I saw this, I didn't really believe it. I immediately started digging through the data, looking for the hidden information that was causing me to read the results incorrectly. But there wasn't any. The answer really and truly is that there are no internal issues. Now, I have to be clear here. This is all about the congregation's perception. Of course, we have issues that we need to address and to continue to work on. But the congregational perception is that these issues have largely been dealt with, and that there are no pressing or immediate issues for us to work through. Well, what does this mean? According to the CAT survey, it means that Trinity is ready to take the next big step into something. The CAT says that this could be an intentional effort at reaching out and growing by bringing in new people, or that it could be a building project. Okay, I'm just going to pause here and say, yeah, that's not going to happen anytime soon. But it could be other new programs or helping to start a new church or ministry. There are lots of possibilities. To be honest, this makes me very excited. It means that we are ready to go. We're ready for something new, and the CAT will help us to figure this out. So we know where we've been. We have the data from 2013 and from 2017, and we know where we are. We understand how we've grown to a healthier and more secure spot. The challenge is going to be maintaining or even growing where we are at. So let's talk about the future that you, Trinity members, envisioned. Well, according to the Congregational Assessment Tool, there are 17 different priorities that you ranked in order. Shown on your screen are just the top 3. In addition, on the left of the screen, just as a point of reference, are the top 3 from 2013. But I'd like to focus on the top 3 from 2017, and we'll look at them in reverse order. The third priority the congregation identified is that we expand our outreach ministries that provide direct services to those living on the margins of society, such as the homeless, the immigrant, and transient persons. I believe that the key here is the phrase direct services. It feels like the congregation wants to move beyond just providing funding and writing checks, and to actually get our hands dirty, to serve, to care for people. Now, this is an exciting development. It makes sense once you consider the CAT data that we looked at together earlier. It means that Trinity people want to move our ministry far beyond the walls of the church. Our task now is to figure out how best to do that. The second priority is to develop and implement a comprehensive strategy to reach new people and incorporate them into the life of the church. Basically, we want to reach out and invite. The old church word that we would use here is evangelism. But in short, the congregation through the CAT is telling us that they want to grow as a church, which is very exciting. And the top priority is to develop ministries that work toward healing those broken by life circumstances. This is also very exciting. We've done a lot of work in the last 2 years by developing ministries around issues of grief and loss, but I think we could grow way beyond that. We can envision lots of different types of support groups for those who experience this brokenness: alcoholics, addicts, mental health, parenting, you name it. Trinity will become known as a place where people come when they need healing of mind and spirit. There are, of course, many other priorities, and we'll work on those as well, but these are the top 3. So what does this all mean for Trinity? What are our marching orders? Well, I think it means several things. It means that in the near future, you'll hear more about Trinity starting new support groups and new ministries for healing and restoration. It means that we're going to double down on our strategies of outreach and invitation, and we're going to work hard to help the congregation understand that the work of invitation is theirs. The nicest building, the best music program, the most phenomenal youth ministry in the world, any of these things are of secondary importance to a simple invitation. Someone needs to invite people to become a part of Trinity's faith community, and we're going to get more serious about that. It means that the Community Resource Center, an umbrella idea for a larger and more significant outreach ministry for people in need, is going to become a reality. It's going to be a large project, but the impact among those in need will be tremendous. And the first phase of this, the Husky Pantry, which is just opening this month, will begin by working on issues of food security for young people and their families in our community who are without a home. It means that we're going to look for new ways for people to connect with each other. We've always known that relationships are at the center of what we do, we're going to create more ways for these relationships to form. And we're going to work to develop our special needs ministry. It came in as number 6 on our list of priorities. Interestingly, this is considered abnormally high in a congregation as a priority. The person that we worked with, the interpreter of the data, told us that typically in congregations that comes in as number 16 or number 17. But there is clearly interest and energy in assuring that all can participate in Trinity's ministry, and so we really want to make that happen. Overall, what has the CAT taught us? Well, it reminds us that Trinity Lutheran Church is a special place. It is a healthy, vibrant, and dynamic congregation. We're moving in the right direction with a positive culture, high satisfaction, and high energy. The CAT survey has taught us that the changes we've implemented in the last 4 years are positive ones, and it has shown us that our future together is in looking at those in need, those who are in pain, those who are addicted, those who are in need of a home, those who are hungry, those who are grieving, those who are looking to find the work of God in their lives. We look to these people, and in them we see the face of Christ, Christ who calls us to reach out and to serve and care in His name. Thank you. Thank you for being who you are and being a part of this faith community. Trinity Lutheran Church really is a very special place. First and foremost, because of God's Holy Spirit, which is so richly present here. And secondly, because of the kind and caring hearts of God's people who've been planted here. We look forward to seeing what God is going to do at Trinity Lutheran Church. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me and look for more information on the CAT survey and the implications that will be coming out in the messenger and other ways in upcoming months. Take care.